Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time I saw Camino. This is a 2015 thriller film directed by Josh C. Waller, and it stars Zoe Bell, Nacho Vigalondo, Tena Huerta, and Kevin Pollak. In this film, a photojournalist gets more than she bargained for when she snaps a photo of a shadowy religious figure in the jungles of Colombia, triggering a flight and fight for her life. So, what did I think of Camino? I don't think it's a bad film. Let me start off right there. Excuse me. I think this is simply just a film that needed more locations. I think that's a big issue with a lot of these survival in the wilderness movies because the cinematography can get a bit stale, seeing the same thing over and over again. Just a person running through the woods, being chased after, and then stopping in an opening and having a fight and whatever. This could have worked, and I think it should have been more of a straight up action movie. But let me get to the cast first. Zoe Bell plays Avery. She's a photojournalist. She catches a photo of this religious figure basically killing a young kid who saw something illegal they were doing. Um, I think that Zoe Bell is great for this role. This is a great role for her. I kind of wish that they had actually gone for the stereotypical, oh, she's a photojournalist, but she knows kung fu as well, or she knows martial arts, because Zoe Bell knows martial arts, and she's a stunt woman. She can do her own fights, and she does in this. But I wish the fights were a little more, interesting or something. They were kind of. I'll get more into that later, but she does a good job in the role, as does Nacho Vigalondo as Guillermo, this leader of these missionaries. Um, I know him more so as a director. He directed Colossal, um, Puka, Open Windows. But yeah, I haven't seen any of his films, but uh, he's a decent actor in this. I kind of wish his villain had a bit more to him, but we also got Tena Huerta as Alejo. He's not a huge role in this, but he's fine. He's fine as the kind of unhinged member of the group and everything. Um, and Kevin Pollak as Donald. I think he's Avery's supervisor or something, her photojournalist supervisor. He's fine. But here's the main thing about this movie. Pretty much everything, so many things in this film are way above technically competent. The cinematography is very gorgeous at times. The score by I have to look. The score by Krang was really good. It had like a kind of spaghetti western vibe to it that I liked, but it also was very like disconcerting and worked with the survivalist tone. The acting again, I didn't remember any of the performances being bad. Um, the fight scenes, while I find them a little underwhelming in that they're more so, how do I describe this? It's more so they're trying to be more flying by the seat of your pants kinda than this woman overpowering these guys. And I know that's supposedly realistic. A lot of people don't like the whole like smaller woman overpowers big guys, but that wouldn't have really happened here because they're about the same size as her. So I really wouldn't have minded it if they had done something like, oh, she knows martial arts because she got attacked once or something, and she said she'd never get attacked again. Something like that. That would have been interesting. But yeah, pretty much everything in the film is well above competent, like filmmaking wise. But something about it just doesn't click for me. Like a film like this, of this premise, should work for me. And I think it does for the beginning and end of the film. Because the first fight is the best fight in the film, I think. And the way it ends, while poetic justice wise it works, but it's also kinda iffy to me. It just doesn't hit like it should for me for some reason. Just feels kind of meh. It like I'm not gonna spoil it, but I kind of want to bring up this director's other film because I have it on DVD. I'll definitely have to watch it again because there's special features on this. Rays, because this film gave me more of what I wanted from this. Because Camino is also kind of in that kind of grindhousey section a little bit. Not as much as this, because this was a straight up like grindhouse, like exploitation film type thing. Kind of similar to those like women in prison movies from the 80s um and 70s, I guess. But this one was more so like just fucking this movie is fucking brutal. It's literally on the back it says no holds barred assault on the senses. Some of the most brutal combat action ever put to film. I don't know about that 100 I don't know about that, but it is a very very rough movie fight scene wise. And even though the editing in it was a bit like choppy at times, a bit too quick cut, it the way it was edited actually does what the Bourne films are attempting to do, which is cut in a way where it makes the fighting more brutal. In this film, it works because they're not just showing off the gore. It's not just like, oh, 5 second shot of gore. You get to see it for like a half a second at each time, and it makes it a little bit more brutal. The fact that they're not fully showing it in that way. And I think this film could have used some of that. Um, this doesn't have the same issue as the last film I reviewed, Till Death Do Us Part, but it still does have the issue of um the pacing. The pacing isn't that strong on this one. Um, you'll have moments where the pacing is very steadfast, where it is really like well paced for sure. And then you'll have moments where the film kind of stops, or just not much is happening, or she's talking to her like dead husband. And I'm just like confused by a lot of these choices. Now, again, while I didn't think this film was fully perfect, I still understood most of the choices in it. They made sense. When did this come out? 2013. But like, I really, I wish more movies would act a little bit more like this. Uh, but yeah, freaking, there's just not much to say about this because I was looking forward to it because I liked this director's other film, and it's a bit of a disappointment. This film has higher ratings than Ray's, and there's a lot of people who don't care for Ray's. I guess I can understand people not being into it, but still, as someone who when you cast a stunt woman in a film, you'd expect them to deliver on the stunts, and in Camino, while she is doing her own stunts, they're not exactly that impressive of stunts, and the fights are really not that imaginative. And even if they're going for even if they're going for a more just realistic tone, it doesn't work for me. And I was expecting it to be a bit more brutal. It's not that brutal of a film. And you'd expect a movie set in the jungles like this to be a bit more brutal, and it's really not that brutal. It is R rated for a reason, but it's not as brutal as I thought it would be, especially after seeing Rays. Like, I'd expect it to be more. But yeah, there's not really much I can say about this. So that was my review of Camino. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put those down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.